Alright, gonna go over a couple of dueling builds for the end of Act 2. You see, I'm still in Act 2. Haven't done these missions, this one or the assault, but I have cleared out most of the map except the camps, which I'm saving for the end so I can showcase multiple builds and for getting rid of all the camps. But, the first one go through is the defensive one. Is got the perfect parry, charm of resolve, charm of Inari's might, charm of silence, and 2 charms of resistances, along with the samurai clan armor. This is the defensive one because it doesn't have any attack in the armor set, and I didn't put any attack on any of these charm slots, just simply because it basically allows you to get hit multiple times, and restore resolve if you have this upgrade, the Iron Will upgrade. You can change a couple of things around. You could, if you're comfortable with parries and the timing for parries, things like that, you could easily put on the Inari's might one. Where is it? Right here. The Iron Will restores you to 50% of your maximum health. And the other one, the other charm you could put on is the one that gives you majorly reduces damage by 50 when you're at 50% or less. So if you do get you do have to use a revive, you can be at 50% and you'll take a lot less damage. Since I haven't unlocked it, I'm currently not using those, and the reason for the 25% resolve gain and the Charm of Shadows one gives you a moderate amount of resolve, is so when you actually do get hit, you'll gain a decent amount of resolve just from getting hit. Go ahead and showcase it with one of the samurai duels. And if you're having trouble with duels, you could make sure that before you go to a duel, you go and try and like do a standoff, get full resolve, and then try and get enough kills to unlock your ghost stance before you go into a duel. If you unlock your ghost stance, you can actually use it in these fights, and it helps a lot. You do want to try to make sure that if you break their guard, you want to try and make sure that you do your heavenly slash, because it does a lot of damage. I mean, didn't really showcase what the build can do because I'm fairly decent at actually doing the duels without. I can likely do this without any gear on, honestly. But just to show, I am on hard mode. Oh, lethal mode unlocked already. I didn't know that. Well, maybe I'll showcase some in lethal mode also. But the second gear setup Um, so Charm Asano, I have seen it proc when you stagger in duels, but I've never actually pressed square during the proc. So I don't know if it, how much damage it does, if it instant kills anyone, or anything of that nature. I typically don't put anything here for the duel. Well, oftentimes I'll still put on this, but most of this stays the same. You will be changing this to broken barriers. Both broken barriers on down here. Keep the resolve. Keep the damage. Could put another resolve gain here. You could put the Iron Will thing again. Put to Charm. Well, no, Charm Fortune was only good if you actually have the Sasano on. But this is typically the build I go with the Gusaku armor. Gusaku's armor, you're mostly just trying to break their guard and do a heavenly strike on them. Dance of Wrath, of course, works pretty well too. As you saw in the last duel, it breaks their guard pretty quickly and then does a decent amount of damage. I typically start with that, and then any additional guard breaks and stuff like that, I'll do a heavenly strike every time it gets to that point. Because like I said, if they're staggered, it does additional damage, as you can read over there. And if you're doing an actual damage build, like you're not worried about your actual defense. It's really, really powerful. I'll showcase that one too. After I showcase this one. This duel. As you see, I don't have full resolve right now.
I had to see for myself.
So
you'd be better off taking his word for it.
Better showcase than the last one where I already had full resolve.
There's no one left to challenge me but you.
I do typically play the same way with both builds. I typically always go for breaking their guard first and then doing a heavily strike instead of like after you parry actually doing just square attacks like that.
Use those stories don't do you justice. They never did.
Also, whenever they do go into EI stance, you do want to make sure you attack them with triangle ability. And there you go.
You fought well, but we're finished.
Okay, and let me for one. charm. Typically throw this on when after I'm out of combat, just so I can heal up if I need to. There's enemies over there, so I technically didn't need to. Go ahead and get a couple of get my resolve up for the next battle and showcase what it looks like with a damage build.
Stand and fight!
In terms of the damage build, you can either go Ronin or the Sakai clan armor. Sakai clan armor is a little bit safer. And the Ronin armor just not really safer. It's better looking to some people. I don't think there's much of a difference in the damage it does.
You're safe now.
Unfortunately, at this point of the game, you don't have the second fortune charm, so you can't do as much damage as you can at endgame. At endgame, you're looking at either, of course, the Ronin armor or Clan Sakai armor. And then you're gonna wanna put on, this doesn't matter again. You wanna put on the perfect dodges and stuff, you can. Not, you're looking to put on, at endgame you're looking on for 2 fortune charms and 2 mass destruction charms. Right, these 2. And that'll give you a 40% chance to do double damage, which is insane. At endgame you'll have a massive increase to health and melee damage from this. So you would have a fortune charm, an Ari's might. You don't need this at all. You would go with the second fortune charm, and then both of these would be your dual destruction. But in Act 2, if you're doing like a dual build or you want to just be able to kill things very fast, you'll be using, get rid of resolve. You'll just be putting on the damage charms. Right here, the ferocity. Ferocity. And then for the last 2, I typically would go with these. 30% chance to refund 1 or 2, or technically, as far as I can tell, they trigger separately. So if you had like a fortune charm and then you put these 2 on, I've been trying to make a build around it, but it's still like sometimes you'll get 2 back, sometimes you'll get 1 back. It's very inconsistent, very inconsistent. And so for the bottom 2, I typically go with Rust goes down here, and I would typically put on the max health one. Oh, this one isn't unlocked yet, or I haven't unlocked it yet. But there's a charm that gives you, yeah, there's one that gives you 50% damage bonus when you're at max health. I would typically put this one on and that one, both of those charms on in these slots. Ferocity in in this slot, and then the final slot is up in the air. Now this one, put the ferocity down here. And the last one, like I said, is up to you. Typically go with like a defense charm, because you don't really have much of a option in terms of damage. You could always just put those destructions on anyway. Isn't a horrible choice. Just not consistent at this point. I will put them on anyway. Just to make it a slight bit more consistent, I'll put a fortune charm. And we'll test out the damage build. Alright, so what is, need one more kill for next one's over here. Try to find someone to kill so I can show you that Ghost Dance does work on this if you're having trouble. If we can find someone to kill. If I absolutely need to, I'll go to one of these places. Just go one of the people that's there. And I think I'll cut it here until I get the actual other kill, and then I'll come back to this duel arena, show you guys what the damage build looks like. Alright, and now I do have Ghost Dance, and I'll just pop it as soon as this battle starts, just to show you what it looks like when
You all deserve death.
And
you have
samurai
Ghost
are
Dance in a
spoiled
duel.
hypocrites who steal glory from real warriors like me. I'll prove it.
Come on then.
Come on. You have Ghost Dance? As you see, you can literally just start off with them having most of their damage.
Why are you out of breath?
And there you go. That's what the damage build looks like. At Act 2 anyway. It's insanely powerful. You can kill them very quickly, especially if you start off with your Ghost Dance unlocked. Becomes a joke. And again, I'll show you what it looks like. Attacks 50% more likely to occur. Attacks have a 10% chance to do double damage twice. And then increase health and melee damage, and then melee damage increase. And the armor gives melee damage and health. And that would be generally the builds that I go with for duels. For the most part, you can use all of the builds for just everyday killing. For going through bases, all of these work just fine. Just depends on your style. Personally, I would go with the Gosaku build, the staggering one. It just makes everything a lot easier. You stagger everybody very easily. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that you definitely want level 2 on every single one of your stances for the Gosaku build. Increase in damage to, or the stagger damage to everyone helps a lot. So you don't actually have to you don't have to slot in the bludgeoning charms. These. So you don't have to slot these in. You can still, because technically I believe if you slot all 3 of these in along with the Gosaku armor, you can typically break every guard in the game with 1 or 2 hits. So it's worth it if you want to just do that quickly. Personally, I don't, because I don't feel like it's worth it. That way you can still keep your damage increases and stuff in, like Inari's Might, and you can still put in the Charm of Shadows for the increase to your resolve gain whenever you actually do break barriers, and then the breaking barriers charms. But that's it. See you guys on the next video, and thanks for watching.